Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, here I'm thinking about that trucker boycott going into New York City. And I asked myself, about how many days of food does New York City have on any given day? The last time I heard it was like 7 or 8 or something like that. But I looked it up and I came up with a site that says that on any given day, New York City has about 4 to 5 days worth of food. So what does this mean if this trucker boycott continues, or if it's still even happening? Let me know in the comments below if it's still even happening, because it's being said that if even 10% of the truckers that bring food and stuff into New York City stop delivering, that the prices of food are going to skyrocket. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it 1,000 times, I'll say it 1,001. You have to get prepared. If you didn't check out the video that I put out earlier today on prepping on the cheap, I did a video on how you can prep on the cheap with power banks. This right here is the cheapest or least expensive power bank I have ever reviewed. It gives you so much energy at such a small price. Go check out that video, especially if you want to make sure that you can keep your lights on during a power outage, because this is going to allow you to keep some lights on during a power outage and at a very good price. And no, I'm not sponsored by this. I wasn't sponsored by this. I ended up buying this myself at the recommendation of a community member. So go check that out, because you're not going to regret checking this out for the price that you can get it. Anyways, let's talk about how many days of food New York has. And also I want to talk a little bit about how the price of food, no matter where you live, is only going to continue to go up. So after looking for this, I landed on this site that doesn't really tell you very much. I just put in how many days of food are there in New York City. The city's point of sale outlets keep 4 to 5 days of food in stock on average. The supply is at risk if there is a mass event, and I would consider a trucker boycott a mass event. And I thought that this was pretty interesting. It says that about 19 billion pounds of food are distributed throughout New York City every and each year. 42,000 separate point of sale outlets. More than 50% of the last mile food distribution into New York City begins from within the 5 boroughs, and 99% of last mile delivery is done by what? By trucks, ladies and gentlemen. The top 4 bridges and 2 tunnels carry more than 50% of food volume into the city. And I came across this article, and I want to talk about this a little bit, because I would like for those of you that live in New York City that are part of our community to leave it in the comments or send me an email. Okay, my email address is down below, and let me know, how are things going in New York City? Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to use New York City, but it's happening in New York City. And if we can learn from this to better prepare for future events, then everyone will be better off. No one's got me. I ain't scared of S. New York City trucker boycott leader Chicago Ray steps down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and highlight some of the parts of this that I think are important. But again, let me know down in the comments, what do you think is going on? And here it reads, Chicago Ray, the trucker who ignited the righteous anger of his fellow truckers and millions of other Americans, has stepped down from his boycott leadership. Does that mean the end of the trucker boycott in New York City? I guess we shall see. We the people know what happened to Chicago Ray. Despite his denial, the enforcers of the deep state made a phone call or left a message under the windscreen wipers of his truck like, boycott boy, you're gonna have a bad accident before your haul is over. Or they made a call to his cell phone like, if you don't end this boycott, bull, your family and home will be gone when you get back home. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is all speculation, I'm pretty sure. Right? But do you think with this administration, and really any other administration, that this is out of the realm of possibilities? You can almost see and hear those threats when Chicago Ray posted. I took that video down from Friday because it went viral and my grandson seen it on TikTok. Now, that was Chicago Ray saying why it was that he took that initial video down. Newsweek reported Chicago Ray took down his original post and posted a new one on Monday in which he distanced himself from the boycott calls and stressed that he was not encouraging anyone to do anything. And that post was also later deleted, but a screen grab of it was shared in which he said, "Just to be clear, I'm no figurehead of any movement." And who can blame him for backtracking if in case... And ladies and gentlemen, in all honesty, who can blame this gentleman from backtracking if this is true? Or if it could be true that he was threatened or his family was threatened. I think anyone would do the same thing that he's doing if that's the case. Newsweek also reported Chicago Ray said, quote, "I'm not leading nor have I encouraged or am I encouraging anyone to do anything other than what they are doing prior to the ruling on Friday in New York City." To me, it sounds like he's backtracking because maybe someone got to him, but that's just pure speculation on my part. I have no idea if that's true or not. It's just what I think. They say that Chicago Ray also posted, "No one's got to me. I heard what drivers were saying and I'm hearing some of that today. I ain't scared of nothing. I grew up in Chicago. I stand with Trump 100%. Truckers for Trump drivers can make their own decisions based on their families and their careers." But then he took down that post as well. Nevertheless, I am getting some confirmation of truckers and trucking companies that are refusing loads for the city. If those refusals amount to as much as 10% of the usual daily traffic, New Yorkers will experience a massive surge in food prices, fuel, and other essentials. Chaos will reign in the Big Apple. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, you must always be prepared. Let's say that some New Yorkers that may be listening to this, or maybe not, are preppers and they're prepared and they've had the mentality for a long time that, hey, if something happens, I have it. And if nothing happens, I can still use it. No foul, no harm, right? Now they're sitting there. If prices of food and everything goes up, they're like, okay, we'll just stay off buying any grocery items for the next 2 or 3 weeks or even a month if we have to. And when prices come back down, because this has been settled, if it gets settled in a short period of time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to go ahead and buy what we need to eat and fill in the gaps that we created during that time span. Easy as that, ladies and gentlemen, right? That's why you get prepared. Not only does it give you insurance, but it can also save you money in the long run. So finishing it off, they say the boycott is not dead yet unless the deep state enforcers reach beyond threatening Chicago Ray and begin to threaten individual truckers and trucking companies. And you better believe they will try to do just that. Or could we the people, we who are the mighty against the few, finally make our voices heard? I've often said that before we have great change in this country and in most Western countries, that the people at the core have to be so upset and have to be suffering so much that we finally find some common ground. And this is very believable because all you have to do is just take a look at your own grocery bills. Supermarket scramble. Food spending's share of disposable income hits highest level in 3 decades. What does that mean? That your standard of living is going down, ladies and gentlemen, that you are now having to spend most of the money that you used to spend on other things to make you happy on necessities that you need to live. For many, the supermarket is a painful experience, much worse than gas stations, as prices for everyday necessities remain elevated while real wages are negative once again. The risk of inflation reaccelerating is even more terrible news for consumers ahead of spring. Food inflation is not dead yet, is an article that they put out here a while back. As commodity prices for cocoa beans, ground beef, Robusta coffee, and orange juice, among many others, continue marching higher despite this administration's promise that their Bidenomics is working. A startlingly new report from the Wall Street Journal shows that consumers spent 11.3% of their disposable income on food, the highest level since the early 1990s. And that's also bad for the economy. Why? Because now instead of spending some money going to the movies and getting popcorn and soda or whatever, you have to spend that money on stuff that you were getting anyways. It's just because it's more expensive now. I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to these 2 articles, ladies and gentlemen, on a pinned comment. If you haven't checked out how you can save a few bucks on a pretty awesome power bank, go check out my video that I put out, and I do have a link for it on a pinned comment so you can get it easily. And also remember that tomorrow we have a live stream at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope that I see you all there. Other than that, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.